Hi folks, this is McSquirrel here, and today I'm going to be installing some new scales. These are the INNOVYX scales for my 91mm Swiss Army knife. This is the Swiss Army VICTORINOX. It's the camper, which is, it's a lot like a Spartan, but it adds the saw tool. This is probably my favorite tool set that is available from Victorinox right here. It just seems to me to be the one that has the most useful tools in it without, having too much and being too thick to carry, like something like the Ranger here, which is, it has all the tools that the camper has, but it also adds the scissors and a file tool, along with some other tools here on the back layer, the back side. The camper is probably my favorite. It's just about as large as I'm willing to put in my pocket, while also having, the most versatile tool set that I find most useful to me. Anyway, these scales are from INNOVYX, which is a new to me company. I've never heard of them, but they do they 3D print scales for different sized Victorinox models. They have the 91mm series, which is the one that I have here, and then they also do the 58mm, which are the mini SD, micro SD sized Victorinox tools, and then they also do the cadet sized tools as well. But they 3D print these. This is done with a 3D printing like filament. It actually feels really good. I have not played much with many 3D printed materials yet, but this actually feels pretty good. It feels really sturdy. I like the texture of it. They look pretty good. I am quite happy with this so far, and I like this blue color that I picked here. I went with INNOVYX because they're priced really reasonably. I think these are $10, $9.99 from INNOVYX, and they have they're the plus scales. This is the Scout series, which is like the least expensive filament material that they have. They also do a carbon fiber infused filament, which I have here on my Tinker, which also feels very nice. They're very, very light. But I also wanted to try, just their standard filament material here, which feels really nice. And this is the plus variant, which means it has a slot here for the pen, and here for the pen, and another slot for the pin tool. So you can get a little bit more utility, a little bit more function out of your Victorinox tool. But I did an install recently on my Victorinox Spartan, and I wasn't able to film the install, so I wanted to do it again with different scales and be able to film the install properly so you guys can see how to do that. So this is both going to be a review of INNOVYX scales for the 91mm Swiss Army knives, as well as an install video and a how-to. Installing Victorinox or scales on Victorinox is not very hard, actually. It's pretty simple, really. And we're going to get started here on this camper here, which is the one that I'm going to install the Scout INNOVYX scales on. I really love my camper. The Victorinox camper is my favorite from Victorinox. It's just right for me. It's not too big, and it carries all the tools that I need and none of them that I don't. I think a lot of people really like the Hiker from Victorinox because it's basically this tool, but it also adds the scissors. And, just in my experience, and, and to others, this, your mileage may vary with this. I just don't really find that I need the scissors very much because I have two blades here already. There's one, the small blade, pen blade, and the full-sized blade. And anything that I would ever need scissors for, I can pretty much do with a knife, I find. In my experience, anyway. like I said, your mileage may vary. And that extra tool, the extra space that they need in order to fit the scissors in here, it just adds a little bit more thickness to the tool that I find I don't really need so much. So I stick with the camper. The camper is my favorite. But let's get started. In order to take the old scales off, it's pretty simple. All you kind of got to do is pry them off a little bit. I stick a little driver in there and just kind of pry them off. There we go. There we go. Old plastic scale is off. Let's get the one on the back now. Cool. They're both off now. So this is the base tool, with no scales on it. But we're gonna set these new scales on it. And pretty much all it takes is a little bit of epoxy and a clamp to just sort of tighten them on, to press fit the scales onto the liners. And when we're done, it should look something like this. Oh, by the way, they come with a pocket clip, which I think is very cool. It'll end up looking like this. But the pocket clip's not necessary if you decide you don't want to carry it with a pocket clip. It's fastened with T6 hardware, so you can take it off easily. But I like the pocket clip, so I leave it on. I use it like that. So now what we're going to do is mix the epoxy. I just use a little piece of paper here, and I put a little glob of the resin and then a little glob of the hardener. That's plenty. You don't really need a lot. It doesn't need a lot of epoxy. You're only going to be putting it very conservatively, just in some spots and around the holes that these will fit into. Don't need a lot of epoxy. I'll mix it here. Try not to get any on your fingers. All right, I think we're about ready. So I'm going to start applying the epoxy onto the scales. Like I said, really don't need a lot. Don't want to put too much, because then it will, when you squeeze the scales onto the liners, they may find themselves squeezing out of the liners, and you'll have a mess to clean up. Also, you don't want the epoxy to squeeze into the slots for the tools, because then it'll make the slots, you won't be able to get the tools in and out of the slots. So I think that's plenty for this side. Move this for a second. Oops. We'll start applying the epoxy to this side here. think we're about ready here. So we're really just going to squeeze them on with the clamp. Press fit them on like so. I use little sheets of paper so that the clamp, when it clamps down, won't leave a mark on the scales. So we want them to look pretty as possible here. There we go. We will just start tightening down till they click in place. Okay. Front side looks to be clicked in, so we'll loosen it. Move them around a little bit. Start on this side now. Okay. Start tightening down this side till they click in place. Okay. This side looks to be clicked in. And let's see. Okay, there's just a little bit, there's one more spot right here in the middle that will clamp down on. All right. Tighten that down there. All right. Yeah, those are on. I have just a little bit of epoxy. I probably used a little too much epoxy, but this can come off pretty easily with just a little sandpaper. Once it dries, I'll just give it a little sanding with the sandpaper and get the epoxy to just, you know, wipe it off pretty much. But I'll let it from here. I'm pretty much going to let it cure, let the epoxy completely dry, so that the scales really stay in place, because we don't want to use it too much until we've given it a chance to dry. And I don't want to start putting in any of the tools into the slots, just in case there is any epoxy in the slots, because the epoxy will, if I put a tool in there now, it could, and it may never come out. So we're gonna wait until it completely cures before I put any of the tools in any of the slots, like the pen tool or the toothpick or tweezers or the pin. But for now, I can at least put on the pocket clip, because I think it's neat that it comes with a pocket clip. It also comes, the INNOVYX also sends a T6 driver along with the pocket clip and the pocket clip screws, so that you can install the pocket clip, which I think is cool. I think it's great that they send hardware along with, or drivers along with the hardware. Yep. There we go. We've got our pocket clip on the new INNOVYX 3D printed scales for the 91 millimeter Swiss Army knives. So So I really like this product from INNOVYX. I like that they have the extra slots. They are plus scales for 91 millimeter Swiss Army knives. I like that they're light. They are very sturdy, which I didn't really expect from a 3D printed product like this. They feel very sturdy. They don't want to chip or crack or anything like that. I played with them before installing them, both the carbon fiber filament one and the standard filament here. And yeah, they both appear to be very, very good products. And I love the texture that they add to the Swiss Army knife. It just feels a lot better in hand. They're very light, and yeah, they're light. They're sturdy. They don't crack. And they add the functionality of the pen and pin tools to the 91 millimeter Swiss Army knives. I have the pin here. You can see it there. There's also a slot for it on the new Swiss Army knife here. Right there, you can see. So, yeah, I love getting as much functionality out of my Swiss Army knives as possible, and I like that they maintain the lightness of the tool, how light they are, and they don't add a bunch of weight like some titanium or aluminum scales that are available from other places. That would add some weight to the tool. So I prefer this 3D printed filament, and to maintain the lightness of the tool. And, I love the texture of it, like I've said. And the carbon fiber one especially seems very light. It adds no weight at all to the tool. The scales that come with Swiss Army knives, this plastic stuff is very light. But the carbon fiber filament here is just as light. The standard filament adds a little bit of weight, but, not a noticeable amount of weight at all. Yeah, I really love this product. I'm gonna keep these tools for a while, and I'll let you guys know how it goes. But I don't foresee any problems with these tools, with these scales from INNOVYX. They make them here in the United States, which I think is cool. It's nice to have local companies making products for Americans like myself, and they're great. The functionality, the lightness, and the stability of the scales is awesome. I do recommend them. Very easy install. That's about all I can say about it. Thanks for watching.